March 27th, 2020, Friday. This is Kid Club.
what public health officials continue to say, as well as Stay Home Vashi, is that nearly half of the cases are now being caused by community spread. In spite of that, there have been a couple of hopeful notes. In Ontario, we've seen a trend, at least on Friday, where the number of cases is down, which is the first dip in daily case growth seen in weeks. So that to me indicates that the things that people are doing and the message that officials are sending seems to be working. At least there are some glimmers that it is. Vashi, I'm just going to get you to stand by, if you don't mind. Vashi Capellas, host of Power Politics. And let's go to British Columbia, because that domestic means or by train, they will not be allowed to board if they have any symptoms whatsoever of COVID-19. We must continue to keep a safe distance from each other. We must continue to protect ourselves, and we must continue to make the responsible decisions. Again, I want to thank the millions and millions of Canadians who are doing precisely that. It's extremely important so that we can all stay safe, and so that we can ensure that when this crisis is over, we can go back to a normal life and continue to have a prosperous and healthy country. But it requires that everyone do their share now.
échec. Je me trouvais donc tellement conne d'avoir échoué, d'être partie comme ça, sans avoir pris plus d'informations. Mais pour moi, ça ouais. Si vous n'avez pas encore découvert ce pays, je vous conseille tellement d'y aller. Je pense que vous risqueriez de tomber en amour comme moi, je suis tombée en amour avec.
Sunday morning.
join in and be part of the solution. Please donate to your favorite organization or find out how you can volunteer in your community. Even working from home, you can make a real difference in the impact an organization can have. As an individual, a family, a company, think of how you can lend a hand to help others through this tough time. On a tous notre rôle à jouer.
We all have a role to play.
Okay, so Justin Trudeau is the shit. He is amazing.
It's very important for young people to continue to keep a distance.
Canada has a great prime minister from what I can see.
Avoid busy places in order to stop the spread of COVID-19 as soon as.
So, as you guys know, last night we ran a fundraiser that was the fans in the community were in the Mile High salute to those of you who were hanging out in the room before we went live. Stu, Ronaldo, Big Daddy Kane's good to see you. James, Flippin' Booch, Jordan, what's up? All you guys, Justin, what's going on? Martin, Kristen, it's good to have you in the room. Let's see here now, just because I know how this goes sometimes, I'm going to jump ahead and then we'll circle back because we don't want to lose our awesome super chat. Justin jumps in, super chat superstar, with a $10 donation.
It's really interesting to see you like that. You're beautiful, of course.
Il y a quelques années déjà, ça passe vite, j'avais publié une vidéo sur le coût de la vie au Québec. C'est vraiment plus de façon générale, donc c'est peut-être pas super précis, il manquait peut-être certains éléments. Et certaines personnes ont pris grand plaisir à le souligner dans les commentaires que j'avais oublié tel ou tel truc, j'avais pas assez parlé des impôts par exemple. Donc j'ai eu envie, 2 ans plus tard, de refaire une vidéo sur la même thématique, mais vraiment de me baser sur moi-même.
Still March 29th. 2 o'clock actually, 2 p.m. Now almost 3:15. Sunday.
Par exemple, la voix, il n'est pas représentatif.
Good day. started this around, building this right around midnight. So
What's your newest purchase?
Tuesday morning, 3:31, 2:20.
Oh, Pulse.
2020.
Oh, no, wait. White? White?
Homicide.
se prépare le grand rendez-vous sportif du carnaval. La compétition de canoë à glace. C'est enfin le jour J pour l'équipage des forces armées dont Sophie a partagé l'entraînement.
Moi, là, je suis tout le temps stressée, là, 20-30 minutes avant la course, là, quand on part, là, c'est le moment, là, c'est sûr qu'on est tous fébriles, là.
Le carnaval,
Le. And so then I started looking through my Windows hard drives, and that's when I was that's kind of older school stuff for me, because I had had a Windows laptop, but that's how I first started recording my music, was with a Windows laptop with the proper interface, the PreSonus interface, and monitors, and proper headphones. I did it right at first, kind of right but wrong, because I didn't know I was lazy about my input levels even then. So anyways, so I was looking through my Windows stuff, and I was finding all these Lovi songs, from 2007, 2008, 2011, 2013, all the way to 2015. And of course the ones, it's everyone actually, because I hadn't heard my Lovi in a long time. It had been, probably almost 4 years since I really, every now and then I was adding a little bit of Lovi to Roxy, so and there's 3 or 4 songs that I was attached, that I was attracted to, that felt like Roxy, music. So, but other than that, I hadn't really listened to all those songs, so I just started listening to them, and then it was just like, wow, man, and I realized it's like, and there was just so much, there's so much more than I posted, by the way. It's just, those are the ones I could stomach, and there's actually a lot more that I would say there's probably 30 more that are, as interesting as the ones I already have up there. In fact, I already have a album 13 made. When I tried to upload it, it didn't work, so I'll upload that, at some other point. But anyways, I was really, in a sense, I got a sense of confidence, it's like, I just remembered how much time I put into music. Especially I started in 2006, and well, with guitar. I mean, I was playing bass in 2004, and I was, picking up the guitar anytime I could, because I knew I wanted to play guitar right away. Once I felt competent in the bass, I was already eyeing the guitar. So anyways, listened to a lot of music. I thought to myself, well, let me just put my first, 12 of my favorites on there. We're having an earthquake again. Jesus. And then Aftershock. That's, for after the earthquake, we had an aftershock, literally for the next 10 days, like maybe 7 days, at least 7 days, but I think 10 days in a row there was an aftershock that scared the shit out of me. The one we just had was scary, my heart racing, but it wasn't, I didn't dive underneath my table like I have in the past. Anyways, another earthquake. It's all like, man, it's crazy. So yeah, Lovi, I posted all the things, and I just, I love YouTube because it's like a storage, it's a storage unit in a sense for me. it's like a little port. You can, you can visit the port if you want, but those, all those episodes or albums or whatever, those compilations can be dispersed at any point, anywhere, They can be shared anywhere at any time. And I can direct somebody to them at any time. But that's kind of not the point of me posting them when I did, or I'm not looking for views and I'm not advertising. I shared it with my close friend John in Arizona, who's another person that introduced me to music, or music playing more particularly, but music as well. He showed me, he introduced me to rock music and Van Halen and Journey and those kind of things back in the day, Def Leppard. And, he was a guitar player, electric guitar player, and acoustic, of course, but he had a blue Honda guitar. And he played Stairway to Heaven perfectly as like a 12-year-old kid or whatever, 10-year-old. So anyways, I shared it with him. I go on tangents. So I posted those Lovi things, and my shoulder, it was kind of like a play it by ear type of thing. I didn't know, let's put it this way. It happened, my shoulder injury happened like the beginning, like the second week of November. And it still has issues. Like there's still like, if I had to, rotate it 360 degrees, there's still spots where it's like, oh, I can't do that. But I couldn't do a push-up until about 3 weeks ago. It lasted that long. It was a shoulder sprain, it turned out to be. It was so bad that I ended up going to the urgent care for it, just so I can get it checked out. So yeah, it was a shoulder sprain, and it prevented me from, like, I couldn't even put on my jacket until after Christmas or something like that. So I was, it's becoming apparent to me that, that I wasn't going to be about athletics in 2020. So I started thinking, how about we do Lovi 365? And I get back to making flows. And at first, because I hadn't turned on my 2006 iMac in a while, but I was kind of saving it for writing. I didn't think it would be able to last with I never tested it with a intuitive program like, well, not intuitive, but a bulkier program like GarageBand, with recording audio files and editing and, all the filters and all that kind of stuff. It's just CPU issues and all, I didn't want to stress out my computer, so I never considered it for that, in the current state of this computer. It's Final Draft is pretty much a word processor, so it's kind of a simple program. So that's kind of what I attributed computer working for so long, with, is that, Final Draft is not such a difficult program. So the computer would, lasted 4 to 6 months of being able to write before it, stopped. But then something happened that, I was getting less hours at work, and so I didn't have the money to get all these equipment that I was imagining to get. I wasn't going to get an interface, $100 interface, and get a program that would work on Windows, and I was going to get my music thing going again. And then somehow, for some reason, I was ready to get started, you know. I was like, okay, let me just try out this iMac. I kind of pulled it out of storage, you know, and let's just try it on GarageBand and see what happens and see if how long it lasts, and go old school with, recording just on the onboard mic with the iMac, which I don't see, and I assume it's on the very top next to the camera. But I don't, maybe there's a little pinhole there. So anyways, I guess that's the microphone, and that's obviously not good quality sound, but you get the idea, with this music, with a little EQing and compression. So anyways, so I was like, okay, Lovi 365, that's what I'm going to do for 365 days. I'm going to record a flow. And what is a flow? A flow is something I do within a couple hours, I don't cut takes unless I stop and start, If I go all the way to the end, it's in the song, I kind of have a fantasy of how I would play live. I would want to play live with 6 to 8, maybe 60 other musicians, and they would all be women, like great guitar player women, great bass player woman, great drummer woman, and they'd all be better than me at music, and I would do my best to kind of keep up. And I think that would be a really cool live show, because my music is typically six guitar deep, with a plus bass and plus drums. So that's kind of what I imagine, having, some, a solo specialist like Orianthi, playing some solos. And anyways, so flows is also a non-structure, it's just what I feel. And I pretty much recorded my very first sounds on guitar. I pretty much recorded 90% of everything, 70% of everything I've ever played, I've recorded. And that's probably wrong. It's probably a little bit less than that, but my intention was from the very beginning to record everything, every practice session that I ever had.